Welcome to Against My Better Judgment, the podcast where two friends,
I'm Tamara Golden.
and I'm Dannelle Whiteside, tell the truth, share the lessons, and laugh about the moments where we knew better, but did it anyway.
Every week we'll unpack those "can you believe that happened" moment of our lives.
And we're not holding anything back, just real stories about the times that life surprised us, stretched us, or just straight up humbled us.
Now, this week we'll discuss the time when you made a huge professional decision that some people may have thought totally upended your life, or frankly thought that you were in some sort of midlife or early life crisis.
Yeah. You know the one, the moment where, the ground shook underneath your feet, like you just made that decision that changed everything. So,
let's just get to it.
all right.
So it started, this is 2025. And in 2025, I had this thought of betting on me. Some people say betting on me, like changing, the wallpaper in your house or deciding to work out or something of that nature. But for me, it was to leave corporate America.
Okay. So how long had you been in corporate America?
So of my 20 years as a trial attorney, I've been in corporate America for 15 of those 20 years, with the last 3 years being in more of an executive role. But things changed in the summer of, this almost sounds like a song, in the summer of 2004. So I'd say around July 2004.
2024.
Oh, good call, because I was just a baby in 2004. 2024, don't forget it. 2024, when I decided to write a resignation letter.
You just decided this.
I did. I decided to write a resignation letter because I was in a place where I wasn't fulfilled. I didn't feel like a lot of shakeup, as with corporate America, typical shakeup. So nothing truly out of the blue, but the folks who had invested in me and the folks who had believed in me, all of a sudden were gone in a course of 6 months. This stuff happened fast.
Like gone.
Gone.
Left the company, or gone, left the earth?
Left the company. Good call. They just left the company.
Okay.
So I was like, you know what? This, and it also gave a lesson, you can't lean too hard on the people who really, really believe in you, because they're preparing you for a time when they're not there.
A good leader will do that.
And emphasis on good leader.
Yeah.
So I decided, I'm going to write my resignation letter. July 2024. I just gotten back from the French Open, and I wrote it. I had to throw that in there. But it's so vivid to me, and I wrote it, but I sat on it. And the reason I wrote it is because, again, I didn't feel like my job was purposeful anymore. I felt like, very little of my talents were being used, but I was exhausted and I was stressed, and I had a brand new leader trying to figure out in his own right.
Yeah.
And when you have the change of confidence of a new leader and them trying to find their way, coupled with someone who is ambitious, the stress, it became a lot. So I wrote this resignation letter, sat on it when I just started back traveling, started about getting back into work. Mm-hmm. It wasn't until October when a dear mentor of mine had a stroke. And I thought, wow, here is a seasoned attorney that's been busting it, in corporate America her entire life. And you are in the time of your life where you're just supposed to be having a good time and enjoying it, and you have a stroke. Well, that hit me hard because, at our age, it's just, you don't expect people to start having strokes and stroking out.
Right.
The same person had stress-related type diagnoses that came up. So that really hit me hard. And then a month after that, a person in my life was having brain surgery. And I'm like, this is tripping me out. So I was like, so I really start to think about my back nine. But I started thinking my back nine was the get to job, like the thing that I get to do every single day, and it's exciting. And so I'm like, does it have to be my back nine? So 2025 hit. I was having a lot of just issues with stress. I wake up, I feel like I need to lay back down for about another hour so my face would look right. Those types of those types of days. And so it happened. I had a heart monitor because I was having crazy palpitations, crazy anxiety.
You were like stressed out.
Yes, and I'm like, I have gotten all the warning signs to prevent this stroke. I mean, I'm in good shape. There's no reason for me to have any. Only thing I don't do is yoga and stretch. But there's no reason for me to have this stress in my life. I live right. It was just so unnecessary.
So, okay. Some people would have said, taking that as a sign of like, maybe I need to go to the doctor, or maybe I need to drink some coffee. Like, what made you say, maybe I need to change my employment structure?
Because as people say all the time, they're like, look at God. Well, look at him. There was a culmination of a lot of things in my life that were giving me the signs. July of 2024, I totally ignored that. Who writes a resignation letter? Okay. So I totally ignored that. And I think of something that I said. I remember saying, at the age of 45, saying to a group of people like this, I'll be in this job for the rest of my life. Who says that at the age of 45? That was limiting myself. So I started to think about these things they're almost silly when you think about the trajectory of your life. So when people say, look at God, I actually looked at it. He gave me the warning sign I wrote the resignation letter. Then I'd gone to a cardiologist because heart palpitations. There was a stroke. There was the brain surgery, all within like a 5-month period. And so I knew that I wasn't doing what I was supposed to do, but I really liked the security of that paycheck. And the things that we say we value, like we value family, we value friendship. Well, I was reflecting and I valued being financially secure. And the thing that held me back is I'm one of those no debt type people. I'll use a credit card. I'll pay it off 3 times in the same month. And so I wasn't betting on me, and I surely wasn't trusting in God. It was just one of those moments to where it was very clear. So January came, and I'll never forget what sealed the deal. I woke up, it was the Thursday before MLK Day.
Okay. Very specific.
What woke me up? I didn't just wake up, because I don't wake up to an alarm. I just wake up. I'm an early riser. I just wake up. But I was awakened by my right eye twitching. Okay.
That'll do it.
Now, I was born with a lazy left eye. But on this day, I was awakened by my right eye twitching. So first thing I do is I get up. I'm like, this is crazy. And it wouldn't stop. I'm not saying I'm saying it, you would think I was winking. So I called my doctor, and she's like, well, let me write you FMLA. I was like, I know the solution. I got this. I know the solution to this condition. And I knew it. I pulled up that resignation letter that I'd already written in July. I read through it. I reworked it. And I pressed send. So I knew the prognosis. I knew the diagnosis. I knew how to fix it.
Wow.
So it was that clear. I didn't want to go out with FMLA because that wasn't my issue. Yeah. That wasn't my problem.
Like, that's not the cure. That's just a symptom. That's treating the symptom.
Correct. I was in my own way.
Yeah.
So I did it. And interesting enough, and I'm so thankful because when the new job now has direct reports, and that would have relieved some of the stress. But I'm so thankful that I was gone before that decision was made. I was so thankful because I probably would have stayed. And again, it just wasn't, I would have delayed my purpose. Like it's the idea of pulling your back nine into making that your front nine. If you're saying what you're going to do as your back nine, think about why.
Right.
Why at the end? Do it when you're vibrant and you got energy and you can. So I really feel now this is the first real risk that I've really taken at the age of 45, and I'm almost embarrassed to say in a way this is the first time that I've really trusted in God. Like I've given up a huge paycheck, all out here floating, but I'm hesitant to say I'm not in this alone or on my own, but I've made the biggest investment on me, and I'm so thankful to the opportunity. And it's what's not lost on me is the fact that not everybody can do this.
That's for
and
sure.
it's not lost on me, this opportunity and how this will be a part of my story, regardless of how the story is. But I'm living in my back nine, and it's great.
Yeah. Well, I remember when you first told me, I was just like, first of all, I think there are two things. Number one, bravery, because there is nothing like having that safety net. And then when you don't have that safety net, to take a leap anyway is bravery. Yeah. The second thing is I've known you now for 15, almost 16 years.
Yeah. Yeah.
This girl right here works. I mean, she traveled, like I think in your job, you were traveling how many days out of the week?
It depends on the week, but I mean, it could easily be, a good half of a month but it ebbed and flowed. But
yeah. So, there would be stretches where we didn't see each other because you would be traveling, here or there. And so it was just totally a departure from what I've known you to do. And so, again, pointing back to bravery, that you completely changed everything about who you are, how you've been operating, not who you are, how you've been operating for the last 20 years. That's major. That's major.
Yeah. And I appreciate that, because I really feel like now, because I had an opportunity when I left corporate America, and the opportunity would put me in DC Monday through Thursday, because I was going to get an apartment and then come back to Nashville Friday through Sunday. And I thought it was a job that was way bigger than me. But I was like, well, who am I to say? And I was like, focus. This is not your purpose. It's defeating if you say you believe in it doesn't give you the opportunity to really invest in your community, be available to love on your friends and your family. So it's definitely taken a lot. But I'm truly, truly excited to, launch my own business. So I'm excited.
That's amazing.
I'm excited.
That's amazing.
So, I know that I'm not alone.
You are not
in this. So, tell us what's that big moment in your life when you made such of a similar decision?
Yeah, my big moment was 2014.
Almost 10 years ago. A little over 10 years ago.
Almost 10 years ago, yeah. So I had been practicing for, at that point, maybe 5 or so years. That's about right. Yeah, five or so years. And I have to give a little backstory. So when I was in undergrad, I took a class on children with special needs. And I heard about this agency called the U.S. Department of Education's Office for Civil Rights. It was all about enforcing civil rights laws that impacted folks in education. That's actually what made me want to go to law school.
Oh, wow.
And I, went down this road of like, okay, I want to be in education. I want to be in education law. So,
but you come from a family of educators.
I do. So that was really the seed. But then when I read about OCR and, heard about all the things they did, I was like, oh, this sounds really amazing.
Gotcha.
So even when I was in law school, I applied for clerkships that were advertised with the U.S. Department of Education. And I would say that federal jobs are like urban legends. Like you see them posted, but you never hear of anybody getting them. So I had been applying since, like I said, in law school. And then when I got out, I would, take jobs, but still I would see postings here or there. And anyway, I embarked on my career. It was great. Practicing for 5 years. I saw this posting for OCR. And it was...
Wait, what does OCR stand for? I think I missed that.
Office for Civil Rights.
Okay.
Yeah, with the U.S. Department of Education. Well, by this time, I was general counsel with the Tennessee State Board of Education.
Oh.
It was probably, when I look back and when I first saw that posting, I was like, oh my gosh, being a general counsel, I've only been practicing a couple of years. Like, being general counsel is like 10, 15 years in your career. Like, so anyway, just to give you that example of what a big job it was to have. But I still kept OCR in the back of my mind. And so at one point I saw this posting, and you could apply for one job, but it would send your application to various regional offices.
Yeah.
So I think there were like 12 regional offices across the country. So I applied, and I was like, I'm never going to get this job. Because again, urban legend. So I get tapped to interview, and I got interviewed in 3 cities: Boston, Philadelphia, and Dallas. Boston was obviously not great. Dallas was even worse.
Yep.
And so then I had the interview with Philadelphia, and Philadelphia obviously was on a different time zone. So I was even late to the interview because I forgot that they were on a different time zone. They called me and they're like, "Are you still going to interview?"
Was this
I was like,
virtual?
Oh my gosh. It was over the phone.
Oh, man.
Yeah. So they called me and they're like, "Are you still getting on?" I was like, "Oh my gosh." So anyway, I got on there. It was a great interview. They moved me on to the next round, kept going. And finally, I was offered the job.
I remember that.
Yeah. So again, at this point, I'm living in Nashville. I have a condo that is fabulous.
It's still fabulous.
It is still fabulous. I still have that thing. I had a boyfriend who we had been dating for probably 3 years at that point.
Too long to be dating. But anyway, another subject.
Hello. Okay. So I was like, I do not like long distance. It's, I was like, this is probably not, if I leave, this is probably not going to work out. My whole family was here. My mom, my brother, his, my niece and nephew, who at the time, and still am, like, very close to, like, I picked them up. They would spend the night at my house. Like, like I was like bona fide auntie. So, it was just, and I had friends, like, I, like, my whole village and life was here. But I always said, like, I cannot live with regrets. I just can't. I cannot have something that I look back on to say I had this opportunity and I let it pass me by. I can't. So I decided to move. I knew not a single soul in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. I remember when we drove from Nashville to Philadelphia, I remember crossing the bridge into the city, and there's a part of this drive, like crossing that bridge into the city, that is not the best looking. Like, it looks like...
Who drives from Nashville to, like, what happened to the airplane?
I had to have
Who
my
does
car.
that? Oh, okay.
So I had to I guess I could have shipped it, but I was, again, fresh in my career, didn't have shipping money.
That's true.
And I don't even think they gave me 0 relocation.
Oh.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's a federal job.
Yep.
They're not giving you those type of perks.
Yep.
So anyway, I remember crossing that bridge, and I remember my mom saying, "Are you sure you want to live? You want to live here?"
That's your mama.
And, me being like somewhat prideful, like, "You're not about to see me sweat." I was like, "Yep, I sure do." Meanwhile, on the inside, I'm like, "Oh my gosh, what have I done?"
Yeah.
My boyfriend at the time, he also drove with us there. So, we just had this really long, tearful goodbye. Like,
It's like the Last Supper.
yeah, like, it was really sad, because I'm like, we about to be broken up. Like, we're not gonna make it.
I quit you.
Yes. So anyway, I got there, and I probably for the first 30 days, most people don't know this, but I cried for the first 30 days. Like, every day at some point I cried, because I was alone.
Oh, jeez.
I moved in September. If anybody knows, like, Philadelphia in September, like, a switch flips. It's cold and dreary. It's no sun. And then it stays that way, cold and dreary, until April.
What is it? Seasonal affect disorder? Sad?
Yes.
Yeah.
So being there and then just not knowing your surroundings, it just does something to you.
Oh, yeah.
But I will say that even though I cried every day for the first 30 days and thereafter, I never felt more brave. I call her my Philly mom, because she really took me in. She would say, there is nobody more, like, take charge than you.
How did you find her?
My boss connected me to her.
That's a good
or
boss.
the leader of the organization.
Okay.
She wasn't my direct supervisor, but she was the director of the office, connected me to her. And so I would find, like, on the weekends, I would be out finding stuff to do. Like, I would be on the train going back and forth to different places. I got to know that city for real. And it ultimately ended up being great. My boyfriend proposed to me and then moved to Philadelphia with me.
I think I see the picture.
It's right there.
All right.
I made friends. Actually, a lot of my coworkers became my friends, which is very rare.
Yeah.
Like, people that I'm still friends with to this day. And it really catapulted me professionally as well.
How so?
Because prior to me going to OCR, I only had K-12 experience. So then when I went to OCR, I had K-12 through post-secondary experience with enforcement. Mm-hmm. And so then when I went to the university where I am now, the president was like, oh, you have post-secondary experience, and it's at OCR, which is very valuable when you're in-house counsel at a university. And so it just was a game changer. It was it was a thing that I needed to do to get to the next level. And I would not have been able to get to the next level as quickly had I not made that very drastic decision to change my life. So it was just the best thing for me.
So hearing that, what exactly, like, what's the lesson in it? Like, what did you learn during that wild ride?
Yeah, I think that if you are at the space where you are trying to decide whether you're going to make a life-changing decision, if it scares the crap out of you, do it.
Yeah, I think that's good. And I'd also be steady. When you're making that decision, if you're a person that's full of emotion, be steady. If you're a person that needs some reinforcement, get that reinforcement, but be steady. Don't do it when you're angry. Don't do it when you're upset. But I think the other thing is, don't wait too long.
That's true.
If you have a plan for your back nine, take some time with yourself and figure out, why is it on the back nine? It might be a good reason. And is there a way to put it on the forefront? And if you're looking at God, then make sure you're also listening to him.
Yeah.
So
yeah. And I will say, to that point, God speaks to you. There's a particular sermon about Abraham and God saying, go to the land that I'll show you. And every time I hear that scripture preached, that's my sign that he's about to move me and shift me to somewhere else. So in that time, I heard that sermon. It was a song that they sang at church. And then, this is going to sound so weird, but the director of the office, she was very quirky. She ended up singing that song when she offered me the job. Look at your face. I can't begin to tell you. The people who know her know, they know. But anyway, so even though that was weird, it was confirmation to me that look for those, what we call signposts or guideposts along the way, that God is shifting you and telling you, like, it's going to be okay. And when you see that, then like, I can leap because he's going to catch me. There's nowhere that God is going to send you that he has not already prepared the way for you in advance.
Agree. It's sometimes easier said than done, but I'll often think, why? Like, we don't have to go through all these circles and all of these changes. So
no, we don't.
That's a good story. I forget about that Philadelphia story.
It was great. It was great. Let me tell you though, we were broke because I didn't realize the impact of some state taxes on my paycheck.
Yeah.
So
Tennessee,
then
you don't feel it as much. You don't feel it.
You don't, because we don't have state income
Yep.
tax here. But when we got together, he moved up there. He got his job. You know, it was perfect for our marriage because we really got to be tight. Once we got married, it was just the two of us there. So, you know, we were both from Nashville, so we didn't have family to fall back on. So, like when we got into it, we had to work it out. When we had adventures, it was just the two of us going together. So it was just a really beautiful time. We have really great memories of that time. So
Thank you, Philly.
Thank you, Philly. Yeah. All right. It's time for our namesake segment. The moment we knew better but did it anyway. I think this is your favorite segment.
Yeah. So, what was your against my better judgment section of that story? What part of that story was against your better judgment?
Honestly, I think probably moving was against my better judgment, even though it worked out. Like my better judgment would have said, don't go.
Gotcha. No, that's a good one. Which means it's a full story that our better judgment may not be, which is that sometimes we shouldn't listen to the noises in our heads. I think for me, what was against my better judgment is not sending that resignation letter in July of 2024. Those are just 6 additional months that I couldn't get back. And that was to me that test to really, really say, I hear you and I'm going to do it. I'm going to trust in you. And that's just to me, one of those tests that I may have failed that one, but I got it on the back end.
You didn't fail because eventually you listened. And I'm pretty sure that in that time where you thought about it, you picked up other guideposts and signposts along the way.
I did, but I would have loved to have picked up that. I would love to be like, I'm going to tell you one time, don't do that. And then me not do it without having to do it my way about, for another 6 months. But, it was still all good.
I can tell you one thing that was against my better judgment in the time that we were in Philadelphia.
Go ahead.
So when he moved into my little apartment. It was a 1-bedroom apartment. And so we had to look for a bigger apartment, because it was like literally very small. So we got this massive apartment and it came with a massive rent. Against my better judgment, we should have gone with just a tiny little step up, And so to your point about not having debt, we got into so much debt because we were having to travel back and forth to home. We were planning a wedding. It was just like putting plane tickets on credit cards.
Yep.
And so at a certain point, we were just like, oh my gosh, like we are in so much debt. And so we ended up, thankfully, by the grace of God, when we moved back here and, my income, from this next move really was where it needed to be, we were able to pay down a lot of our debt. And so that was against my better judgment.
No, we all have learning lessons when, that's a whole nother segment, a whole nother conversation, lessons with credit and debt of things of that nature. So, what do you really want to leave the audience with for this week?
I just do it afraid. Do it. Take the leap and plan, because I think your story tells the tale of what you can do when you have planned and you've kept yourself in a good shape financially. You're able to make those decisions.
Yep.
And also when presented the opportunity, like just go for it. I think on the other side of it, you will find just so much richness in your life that resulted from taking that risk.
Agree. And I'd also add, believe what you hear when you know who's saying it. So
that's a word.
Yeah.
That's a word.
When you know who's saying it and you know the authority, believe what you hear. And I put that caveat to it as we wrap up.
All right. We'll be back next week with another story, more laughter, and hopefully a little more clarity too.
And follow this show from wherever you're listening and invite some others to join us.
Yep. So stay in touch. You can follow us on Instagram at Against My Better Judgment Pod and on Facebook at Against My Better Judgment Pod.
And if you got a story to share or you just want to say hey to us, email us at againstmybetterjudgment@gmail.com.
Against My Better Judgment pod at
gmail.com.
We're glad you're here. And remember, this is
just the beginning.